folks, welcome to Myers Metal Detectors, located in sunny Tampa, Florida, where we sell nothing but fun and adventures, treasure hunting gear, and anything you can imagine for metal detecting. Give us a call, 813-237-1939. Happy hunting and dig deeper.
Live from sunny Florida, it's Treasure Talk.
Welcome, friends.
And welcome back. It's been a while. It's been a minute since we've been together, dude.
It's been 2 weeks, Jeff, and I have to say, every Monday night I was really missing Treasure Talk. It's just, it's just a cool show and a cool time to share wisdom with fellow treasure hunters. So,
well, we always have a good time with all our buds and everybody that comes on, but we needed a little break for the holidays, and I'm sure everybody had a joyous holiday, I hope, and a safe New Year's. We haven't gotten any information back about any dilemmas that happened, so that's a good one.
Yes, and a lot of people got some nice Christmas gifts. I saw it on the Facebook page today, and I saw the famous. The Myers. Well, it's been called a dirt rag. It's also been called a loincloth. Now, yeah, it's been called a lot of things, but yeah, we've had a lot of pictures lately with finds on this towel, and people getting their detectors and having that in the box with it. So people are really happy. And of course, today is January the 8th. So I'll play a little January the 8th. And my son sent me a video. I don't know if people can hear that or not, if it's too loud. I don't want to. That's January 8th. And for the folks who don't know what January 8th is, that was the day Andrew Jackson fought the Battle of New Orleans. And his 5,700 men went against 8,000 trained British troops. And they beat them really bad.
Isn't that the one when he grabbed a gator and he had the cannonballs and powdered his behind? And when they set the powder off, the gator lost his mind.
There you go. But that was the song. That was the fiddle tune called The Battle of New Orleans, or January 8th. So my son is not a fiddle player. He's a mandolin player, but he sent that. And I just thought it was very appropriate for our first day back, January 8th. So let me hit the stop button. But
yes, indeed.
We got history. So for folks who didn't know it, today is the remembrance of the Battle of New Orleans. And
yes, indeed.
So without me running my mouth all this time, I guess I better get started because we have some excellent guests, and we're going to talk.
And you better do our housekeeping.
Yes, so I better do that real quick. Today's show, of course, is brought to you by your friends at Myers Metal Detectors, where we sell fun and adventure. And, of course, the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed here by the Treasure Talk guest and member are the guest and members, and not necessarily Phil Myers, Jocelyn Myers, Myers Metal Detector, or Jeff Monitz.
That is right. And
the purpose of Treasure Talk is to promote the hobby of treasure hunting and metal detecting, and treasure hunting of all forms, and to educate our members in a fun, informative manner. And that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, we are. We got a lot of good stuff happening tonight. First thing, let's just, bring people. They've been away a little while. The next couple of shows, next week, it's going to be the great women detectorists of the world. And then on the 22nd, it's Nocta time, because Dillick will be here, Mark will be here, a couple of the nomads will be with us, and Dillick called me today and said, I want to give away a score and a double score on the show that night. So that's the 22nd.
Awesome. That's awesome. And Jocelyn's having trouble with seeing the comments on the screen, so I'm going to duck over there for 1 second, Jeff.
All right.
And you are going to bring on the guests, or?
Yes, we are going to bring them on. First, I tell you what I'm going to do first off, because we're going to have a lot of stuff going on tonight. we've got a little word from our sponsor we want to run right up front while you do that, and then we'll be good.
Perfect. Here from Myers Metal Detectors. In today's video, we're going to show you some cool products. Right now, it's in January, so for here in Florida, it's dirt digging season. So let me just show you real quick. Pinpointers, we got them all in stock, especially the new AccuPoint. That one was in short supply. We've got, of course, the XP MI6 pinpointer, and we've got the MindLab Profine 40. Also, let me show you some shovels real quick. We've got the famous Excalibur shovels. We got those in stock. Ship them out real quick. Excellent tool, perfect for relic hunting. Next, we have the Garrett shovel, of course. We've got more colored Excaliburs, and we have less shovels too. This was one of my favorite products. This is the best scoop. So lightweight, 2 1/4 pounds, and it's just an awesome scoop. Perfect for beach hunting, for loose sand, dry sand, wet sand, and water. Excellent scoop. And also we have, take a picture of that one, Joe. We got a free Motley scoop with the Legend Pro Pack. While supplies last, that's not going to last very long. With the Pro Pack, of course, that's $729.95 now. And also MindLab Equinox 900, $1149.95. Get a free Motley scoop. And we've got all the scoops as Joe is filming. So need anything, give me a ring. 813-237-1939. Happy hunting and dig deeper.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, yes, now we're back. I do have to say one thing there on my I do those so fast. It's not a Motley scoop on the Legend. It's a Legend. It's a Motley shovel with the Legend. And the Legend price, warned everybody they were going up. So it was $749.95 for the Pro Pack.
Yep, and everything went up. MindLab really jumped.
Yeah, MindLab jumped up $100 on each of their high-end units and $50 on their low ends. But that Legend Pro Pack has still got all those accessories in there. I checked on my boxes, and that's what they have in there. So even at $749, that's a steal. And you're getting the Motley shovel.
Yep, it is indeed. And later on tonight, I don't know whenever my arthritis comes down so I can click the thing, we're going to be giving away a red book coin book tonight.
Yes, this one right here.
That one right there.
And you know, when they get this, they do get the Myers towel.
And the calendar.
And the infamous calendar. So
that's right. Now, like I say, people think that, it's been called a dirt rag. Somebody even said they use it for a loincloth. I don't know nothing about that. But it is coveted worldwide for various reasons.
Yes, it is.
So everybody, like this video and share it to all your social media. Let's get more people involved here.
Yes, tell people about us and what we're doing here. Because, Jeff, I'm a member of several, 2 clubs right now. I haven't sent my membership for the 3rd one, but 2 clubs. And clubs are nice because you get to meet with people in person. But a lot of people, there's no clubs in their area. They got to go 3 hours to hit a club. So this is a good way for people to learn about the hobby, ask questions. They ask them in the feed all the time, and just to share information. And that's what we're all about here.
That is true. That is true. That's the best way to get to meet people and, hook up with people for hunting partners, and you learn an awful lot. Of course, the best way to learn about anything is treasure talk. So there you go.
That's what you got to do. And I see a comment from Bill Crow. Justin told me, he said he loves the 2 nice calendars that he got. So
yes,
want a calendar, easy way to get it. You can buy it off my website. I think it's a couple bucks in shipping. Calendar's free, or you can place an order and it's going in the box when it goes out of here.
Whether you like it or not.
Yes,
you'll like it.
You will like it. We guarantee that.
Yes, indeed. Well, we better get on with the show.
We better. We've got
we've got tonight. It's Detect Florida. This young man is. He started his YouTube channel, Detect Florida, and he's got a personal group of friends. Of course, they're all our friends as well. and they hunt together a lot. So we thought it would be a huge hoot to have them all on tonight. Shawn is the founder of Detect Florida. He hunts with his dad a lot, who's an extremely fine gentleman. He's not on tonight, but he's part of the group. And Shawn has got some big news about something, an endeavor he is taking on, and some channel news. And then we'll introduce everybody as they get here. But let's bring on first Shawn from Detect Florida, and then we're going to bing, bing, bing. I'm going to bring on all the guys because we got Billy, we got Bruno, and we got Rick. So here's Shawn. And guess what? If you watch some of his older videos, he got a haircut.
Fine introduction, Jeff. Thanks.
Yes, indeed. So let's just go ahead and bring these other Mama Lukes on. There you go. Let's see.
Hey, there's Rick too. Hey, Rick.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, we're on already, man. I'm just finishing up with dinner. Hang on a second. Let me get them cleaned up. Okay, I'm ready.
We know what that's going on. That we know about that.
He's got his towel. He's got his towel and a nice cup and a nice hat too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to grab my hat and put it on. Oh, guys.
Yes, indeed. No, I'm just messing with the different things for the screen. So just bear with me. We'll go back.
No worries.
You know, we'll go back.
All right.
And that'll work. This will work.
Before we get started, each one of you guys, and we'll start with you, Billy. We'll go around the circle here. Tell us where you're at in Florida, since you're Detect Florida, and tell us what detectors you currently use.
Who are we starting with?
We'll start with Billy.
Oh, Billy?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in Pinellas Park, Florida, which is kind of between St. Pete and Clearwater. I have an Equinox 800, a Deus 2, and in the water is an Excalibur 2.
Sweet.
With a Stealth 9.5-inch scoop with the carbon fiber handle.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yes.
Okay, Rick.
I am located in Plant City, Florida. We are about 20 minutes east of Tampa. So we're out here in the winter strawberry capital of the world. I hunt with, I have a Deus 2 that I am still trying to master because, as my friends know, I am the least technical person in the entire planet. But I'm learning the machine well. It's been treating me really right lately. And I hunt in the water with an Excal 2 that I had updated a couple of years ago with a 13-inch Tornado coil and Gray Ghost waterproof headphones. And I've got a couple of other little smaller units that I have, a Garrett and some old white stuff. I still like my whites. So I still have some old whites machines that I hang around with also.
Okay, and you, Bruno, jump right in.
I live down here in Cape Coral with all the old people. I figure that's what we're famous for down here. And I got rid of all my detectors, and I only have two, well, three, but two only count. I got the Deus 2 and the Manicore. I got rid of everything else. And I do have an Xterra that's on the shelf that I'll never use, and I'll just sell probably in a year. But that's it.
Okay, cool. All right, Shawn, you're up, buddy.
All right. Well, I currently alternate between the MindLab Manicore and an XP Deus 2, but I'm very proficient with the MindLab Excalibur. And I still use my Deus 1 for competition hunts, and I've got all kinds of machines. I've got pretty much everything. I got a Fisher Impulse AQ behind me. That's for the east coast of Florida for the real deep stuff at the beach, along the Treasure Coast there. But as far as the scoops go, I'm currently using the Extreme Titanium with the carbon fiber shaft. And that's about it. I didn't give you my location. I'm in Sarasota, about an hour south of Tampa.
Okay. Awesome, guys. Well, welcome and thanks for coming on here with us. And as we get questions, we'll be throwing those out there. Jeff will be getting them, and Jocelyn gets them too. And we'll be asking the guys. So are you guys, tell us, we'll start with Billy again. What type of hunting you do? And Jeff, you chime in anytime you got something. What type of hunting is your favorite hunting? And what have you found lately?
Well, honestly, the beach is been, was really good to me this year. I pulled over 100 rings. I've got 3 gold chains this year, which is very unusual. I don't find a lot of gold chains, quite a few gold rings in that. We hunted the dirt yesterday, and like I said earlier, just nothing special. A silver ring and a bicentennial quarter was the only oldest thing I found. But yeah, mostly the beach and the water, and it's been, like, here's one of the gold chains I found. I don't know how well you can see it. Here, I'll fold it in half. You'll be able to see it easier. And it has a coin on it that I actually won at with Bruno and Shawn were there. And it's the Treasure Coast puts on a really good thing every year in March. And they actually give you a chance to win like 5 of these coins. And I got lucky last year and found the token that said Real, so I got that. But a year ago, December, I'm trying to get it right here. I found this one, which is 10K. It's been a good year, but since the hurricane came through, all the holes and the cuts that were out at the beach have pretty much disappeared. Last 4 or 5 times out, I think I got 3 rings and a chain, but really sandy and bad. There's not a whole lot out there at this moment. And it's been like they were saying earlier, it's been pretty rough out there. So I'm hoping with all this rough, maybe we'll get some sand moved out. But unfortunately, I think more is going to get moved in, to be honest with you. And then back in the dirt. This time of year, it's nice to do the dirt because the weather's a lot better and it doesn't, you don't get worn out like you do. But the beach, when you pull these kind of objects out and it's in the bottom of your scoop, it's pretty exciting. And I love hunting in the dirt. But you pull out a gold chain like this, it's a lot better than a mercury dime.
Oh, absolutely. The value is so much more.
Yes.
And now, what detector were you using to find that chain?
That was a XCal 2.
Okay, sweet. Were you in the water?
Yeah, it was in the water. It was probably about, I think, waist deep. Rick will verify this too, because I hunt quite a bit with these guys all the time. But a lot of times, a lot of the finds for me are basically waist to chest deep. I'm 6
Which means over my head.
Yeah, I'm 6'4". I'm tall like Rick is, so I can get out there. Pardon?
I told Jeff I'm not laughing.
Yeah, but I mean that seems to be where most of them are. Really, I mean you do find them. I'm not a big fan of hunting the dry sand or even the wet sand, to be honest with you. Generally, if you see me out in the dry sand, it means there ain't nothing in the water. I ain't finding nothing in the water. But yeah, the water, I'm telling you, all these guys will tell you the same thing, that when you shake out the sand and you see a gold chain or a gold ring or any ring really, a ring's a ring, just some are a little better than others. But yeah.
The ring's a ring. All right, before we go to you, Rick, we're going to ask Shawn real quick a question. Where's the famous red pull tab necklace?
Oh man, it's in the other room. I didn't think people would ask me to put it on. So,
well, of course, it's a headband, dude.
Well, a lot of people are probably wondering what the heck the story is behind that. So we competed in the Masters of Metal tournament for Mine Lab, and in the regional finals, there's a relay race that we had to do where there's teams of 4. The first hunter starts in the first field, and you have to find a specific item. After you find that item, your next hunter goes in the next field, and you try to get through this, the 4 fields as quick as possible. So I went first in my field, and the target was a red pull tab. And if you've seen my YouTube videos, the pull tab is the bane of my existence. So everyone started laughing when they found out that I had to find a pull tab. Well, they said, okay, ready, set, go. All the teams went out in the field. We're all searching. I'm finding silver pull tab after silver pull tab. I'm hearing other people saying, oh, I got one. And they start, all these other teams are advancing. And I dug, do you remember how many pull tabs, Bruno, I dug?
I thought it was like 62 or something like that. Something ridiculous.
Before I found a red one. So teams were done and finished, and I'm still out there. I'm one of like 2 guys left in the first field, and everyone was loving it, watching me struggle. It was terrible. So we ended up tying for first in the regional finals for the competition. So we moved on to the national finals in Alabama. And so at the end of the event, they're giving out all the awards, and they said, okay, well, we've got one more special prize to hand out to one of the guys in Florida. And Debbie Smikowski said, Shawn, come up. And she made a necklace for me with a red pull tab hanging off of it.
Too funny.
Yeah, people that weren't even at the Florida event heard about it, and they were all laughing, and it was this whole inside joke with the Mind Lab community.
All right, cool. Okay, Rick, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. Shawn is the Excalibur Whisperer. He is a guy that I don't care. You can put a gold ring in a field full of pull tabs, and he will find it every time. His videos are absolutely amazing. But what I like about what he does more than anything else, a lot of the ring searches and the things that we do for people, a lot of it is based on analytics. You have to be a detective of sorts, and you have to talk to these people, find out what they were doing at the time, about where they were standing. And of course, most everybody's memory is fuzzy. Oh yeah, I felt the ring come off. Well, how many of us have done that? And the guy gives you X marks a spot, and you find it 50 yards up or down the beach. But I prefer to do water hunting. My buoyancy of the water on my knees and stuff makes it a lot easier for me than pounding the hard ground all day long. I do have a wetsuit. So when it gets cold by Florida standards, when the water is in the low 70s and 60s, we'll put on the wetsuits and we'll hit the beaches. But as Billy was saying, and Jeff and Phil, I think you guys were all hunting with us at the same time, right after the last big blow came in last summer, and it was so sanded in you couldn't hardly find any shells. You would take a big mouthful of sand with that big stealth scoop, and there would be just a handful of shells in it, and the rest of it was just a gallon of loose sand. So now we had this other blow that just happened here about a month or 6 weeks ago, and all the dunes that they've just replenished, they paid millions of dollars to replenish, all of that got washed out into the Gulf also. So now not only is it buried because of all the stuff that was blown in before, but now we got this on top of it. So like Billy said, the weather's been nice lately. I have a friend, and I have to be vague about how I talk about this, but I have a friend that
vague about having a friend.
Yeah, I have to be vague about friends. But he turned me on to an 1830s Seminole Indian war fort up in the north of Tampa, Central Florida-ish, and they kind of knew this fort was in this area, and a land developer has come in now and has taken all the trees out. So we were able to get permission to get into that site. And so far, I've been able to dig up 30 musket balls.
Sweet.
I've got rifle balls and pistol balls in there. I have seen an 1840 half dime has been found at that location, and it's magnificent. I mean, it was lost in 1840. And my favorite thing out of that site right now, and I know this is going to be really tough to see, but this is a cuff button with the eagle, the shield, and the sword. These buttons were made in Philadelphia for the U.S. Army, and the manufacturer of these buttons had the contract from 1808 to 1825. So it's kind of neat. That's one of the neatest things I found on the site so far. That and the musket balls.
Cool.
Well, we watch Detect Florida's videos every time they come out, and they are exceptional.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
And the thing that a lot of people don't realize, that Shawn finds a tremendous amount of lost jewelry for people, and he doesn't want to take anything for it. So it's really a tremendous service. So a lot of that's the good karma that he is building up, because he's got he's got some plans for the channel we're going to talk about here in a second, and he's also got some other things that he's doing in the treasure hunting community. But one thing I wanted to say, when you're talking with Shawn and Bruno, and if you watch their Facebook posts, you see a lot of cocktails.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of cocktails involved. Now, I don't
Usually
know.
served in a tub. There's some sort of great big vat, you know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Bruno always has a really big one with an umbrella. Wow.
Shawn, I keep telling him every time I see him, I say he's got the shines.
Yeah.
He knows, man. He just knows like he's been there before. He walks right out there and we're not in the water 5 minutes. Oh, I got a ring.
Sweet.
That does tend to happen, and people, especially Billy, get a little irritated when that does happen.
Oh, Billy pounced.
He's
When
thrown
do I-
more than a couple of times.
When do I get irritated? Me and Bruno leave them behind. We pass them up so you can find them because you're the young one. We don't want to listen to you whine.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it
I
is.
was thinking.
See, here's the thing. Billy sulks. Rick, he just, he's off like a motorboat, and Bruno goes to the bar.
That's it.
Right.
That's
Right.
it.
Yeah.
I was hunting with Billy last summer, and I took him to a spot. And I said, "Billy, I found 3 rings, man, right here, 3 rings." So he's jonesing. Oh man, I haven't run a ring in so long. Oh my God, I can't believe that. So he gets onto my left side, which is deeper water. He's about 10 feet behind me. He's probably 5 foot deeper, 10 feet behind me. Boom! He pops a diamond engagement ring right out from behind me.
Sweet.
Oh,
Nice.
I'm like, dude, you owe me gas money.
man.
Hey, before we keep going with Bruno, Rick, that button, is that the one on your Facebook page?
Yes, it is.
I think that's a forage cat button. The one on a forage.
Yeah, for the keeping.
Yes.
We talked about that because it is so small, it'll fit right on the top of my thumbnail.
Yeah, I think that's what that is. I think that's a forage cat button.
That's very cool.
Nice.
Very cool.
It's awesome. All right, Bruno. So tell us what were we talking about? Oh, your favorite honey.
Preferred honey.
Yes.
I like the water that's down here. That's pretty much all there is. There's nothing old down here. I've only been in Florida 5 years, but back home in Pennsylvania, not far from Pittsburgh, it's nothing to go out and find, not a handful, but a couple Indian heads, large cents, old silver, and then, go to Gettysburg or go down to Virginia for a couple of those hunts and find some stuff. I do miss that. Even yesterday, dirt hunting I enjoy when there's things to find. Yesterday wasn't very successful, but it's still a good time. But the water, I guess, that's where you find the shiny stuff. And my favorite part is walking in front of Billy and finding something.
Everyone's favorite part.
Which he
That's
has
one of
done.
my favorite parts. Yeah, I hear him whine like a schoolgirl.
Yeah.
Oh, he does. The tears come down his cheeks. It's
It's
He
okay. Shawn does
zigzags
it
back and forth.
me.
Zigzags back and forth in front of you, and then he finds a ring, and you're like, really? Really?
Yeah, well, that's the only reason I went.
Of course.
The only thing of it is, Bruno, you say down there where you live in Cape Coral, you say there's nothing old down there. I would take issue with that. You got a lot of old people down there.
Old people, yeah.
Yeah.
No old ground. You're correct. But you know
But
what?
the good thing is they don't get in the water is the sad thing. But the good thing on that regard is they still have the real gold. You don't see tungsten and stainless steel on old people.
No, and even now I don't even go. I went to Fort Myers. I go Saturday. It's so full of trash. It's just not even fun. It was okay for a while, but you dig so much trash to try and find the gold that I hardly ever go there. I'll go somewhere else, Naples or somewhere where it's not near as full of, but like I said, you walk into the water in Fort Myers and one swing and you have 15 targets. And that's not an exaggeration.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
because of the hurricane, right?
Unbelievable. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
The hurricane did that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's just full of nails and screws and just so much stuff. It's going to be there for a long time. So that, to me, that's not fun, but no, I have a good time with these guys, and I'm not as dedicated, nowhere near as Shawn or Billy. I get out once a week if I'm lucky, and I'm usually done by noon, ready for a drink. And but these guys, they hit it pretty hard, and I just don't have that drive. I call it having a life, but I don't know. No, I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. But what Shawn does is pretty awesome. All the returns. I've done some returns, but nothing serious. But it's fun. It is cool when you can give something back. It's not about any reward or anything. And for me, I've never sold anything, so it doesn't really matter what it costs because it's just going to sit there and I'm going to look at it. That's it. So,
hey, can I address that real quick?
Of course.
I just cashed in a lot of my gold that I have collected over the years. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and I sat there with my wife and we talked about it one night. And I'm like, I've got this jewelry box over here and it's got all these pretty rings in it, but nobody cares but me. Mm-hmm. And occasionally, when you do a little show and tell at a metal detector meeting or you get friends that get together and you want to show them your jewelry box, So I just cashed it all in. The stuff that wasn't emotionally, attached to. Gold hit $2,000 an ounce, and I made $5,300 with it.
Nice.
And I'm fixing to take it now, and I'm fixing to turn it into a Cuban link chain, Miami link chain, and that real is going to go on that. So that way I can use it and I can enjoy it rather than have it sitting in a jewelry box just collecting dust.
But during the conversation with his wife, with the part he's not telling you was the trip that he promised to take her on.
Absolutely.
It's not
give and take.
There's
a give and take.
But it could be just to Tampa.
Right.
I don't know.
I'll take her to the Waffle House.
That's it.
There you go. All righty. Okay. How about you, Shawn?
Well, everyone that watches my videos, they know that I'm a water hunter, but the truth of the matter is I love relic hunting. There's just, like Bruno said, there's not much around here. It's very difficult to find old stuff here. I've actually only ever found one large cent ever in the 10 or 11 years I've been doing it, and it was a beach find. Nice. But I just recently got back from a trip from New York, and my sister, she lives up there, and she reached out to some of her friends. She said, hey, if anyone has any places that my dad, my brother can go metal detecting. And we met this guy whose great-great-grandfather started a strawberry farm in, it was 1865, right at the end of my sister's street. And it's now a really nice high-end golf course. And he said, well, no one's out there golfing. Have at it. He said it became a golf course in the early 1930s. And we, Billy would have died. For those that don't know what Billy does for a living, he maintains this gorgeous golf course. And we're digging holes all over the place on this golf course. And Billy he'd have had a heart attack. Yeah. But no, we found a bunch of Indian head pennies. My dad, he found a nice war nickel, buffalo nickels. We found a lot of really cool stuff. He found a nice crotal bell. And then I met up with a guy that I actually competed against in the Masters of Metal tournament in the finals in Alabama. He lived in the next town over, and he said, if you're ever in my neck of the woods, I'll take you out. And I hit him up, and I took him up on it. And yeah, I think my best find was a pewter button from the 1600s when I was with him. But yeah, really what I love most is not just water hunting, but it's going out with a purpose and finding and returning people's lost jewelry, because that feeling you get when you look in the scoop and you see what it is that you went out to go find, nothing beats that feeling. And then what's even better is when you are able to contact that person and get that reaction from them, and you see how genuinely happy they are now. Their emotions just did a total 180, and nothing beats that. It really is the best.
Cool.
We got a question there, Philip.
Yeah, I see John. I cannot pronounce Culinary. Says, hey, Shawn, like your video. Heading to Longboat Key next week. Any tips?
Oh, John, do I have some tips for you? I hunt Longboat Key.
Stay out.
You are not.
Stay away.
I'll give you some honest advice. You're not stomping on my territory or anything. I'm happy to give you good advice.
That's margaritas.
So Longboat Key isn't a very heavily trafficked beach. It doesn't get a lot of beach goers. So there's a few really tiny public accesses that you can park at. And really, my advice to you, I don't know if you're going to be hunting the water, the wet sand, the dry sand, jump around from location to location, because you'll find that all these little accesses at Longboat Key, most of them hold nothing. You're not going to find a darn thing. Once in a while, you find a spot that just, for whatever reason, produces a ton. You'll start finding those World War II 50 caliber bullets. Once you start finding those, stay there, start slowing down, and you will find stuff. But really, you're looking for older stuff. You're not really looking for fresh drops. So you want to try to find eroded areas if you can. That'll be your best bet if you're hunting longboat.
Sinkers too. If you're finding lead sinkers, make sure you stay in the area, because the specific gravity of gold and lead are very close to one another. So if you're finding sinkers, stay in that area and hunt it hard and dig the whispers.
That's right. So I tell you what, Philip, we need to give away a red book.
Yes. Before we do that, I've got one more question for Shawn. Those areas you're telling them to hunt in Longboat Key, do you have to pay to park there?
No, it's all free.
That's sweet.
Yeah, Sarasota County is pretty awesome when it comes to beach metal detecting, because you can go all around Sarasota County all day long and not have to pay to park. There's just last year they put a couple pay stations around, but still I'd say probably 95% is still free.
Sweet. Well, don't try that in Pinellas County, right, guys?
No, I know that.
All right, Jeff. How about it?
Okay, everybody. If you want in on the drawing, what you put in the chat is #redbook. That's the phrase you got to put in the chat, so it'll read you. I'll give you a few minutes. We got a time for another question or so, and then we'll do the drawing. It won't take long. So #redbook. That's what you got to put in.
And they're going to get a Liberty Seeded Coins red book. This is a thick one. I think it's it's probably 300 pages. It looks like.
Yeah.
And if you're a coin collector, they're nice.
You're going to get the coveted Myers loincloth and a calendar.
Going to get the calendar too. So that's a good prize there. So large. Oh, he's got his cloth. He was using it as I use it as a bib too. I've reached
the Steelers' terrible towel.
Yeah, I've reached the age where I need to wear a bib again, so I'll use that. So, Shawn, did you say you found a large scent?
Yeah, I was beach hunting, and I found the most unbelievable section of eroded beach I've ever found to this day. I'm silver coins and green wheat pennies sitting right on top all over the place. You can literally just walk around picking them up. And I was finding gold and platinum, and I'm having the time of my life in this eroded area. And I get this solid hit right at the dune wall. There was this layer of like really dark yellow sand, and it was really hard. It felt like concrete. And I got this solid hit, and I'm just like chipping away at this stuff. And then this big round disc pops out, and I didn't think anything of it. I put it in my pouch. I took about 2 steps, and I thought, wait a minute, that was coin shaped. I got to look at that again. And I looked at it in the sun, and you could see it said 1 cent on the back. And I flipped it over, and you could see the bust on it. And it was early 1800s. It was like 1830s, right there on Lido Beach.
Oh, I was going to say on the west coast of Florida, though.
Yeah, very unusual.
Yes, that really is. It's very unusual to get silver coins. Would you start there, Rick?
I've found 2.
I got 3.
I've been hunting for 50 years, and I've gotten 2.
Wow.
I got 3, and I've been hunting almost as long as you, but I got mine here in Tampa.
Mine came from an old schoolyard in Sebring, Florida. The school was built in 1916, and I think I found it under a stand of oak trees. And I think what it was, I got the signal, dug down under the first 6 inches of soil. I hit hard pan, got under that to the black soil, and that's when the penny popped up. And I believe to this day, one of the workers that was working on the school probably had it in their pants pocket and dropped it when they were on break. And then over the years of bringing in fill and whatnot, buried it up, and I eventually found it.
Wow.
mine were all 1819. All three.
Well, Tampa, the old Fort
All
Brooke.
three, Fort Brooke area. All three, probably years apart, but they're all 1819.
Wow, that must have been a good payday.
It's just weird that that's the way it is. How about you, Billy? You got one?
No, I have none. None.
And you, Bruno?
Oh yeah, I got a handful of them. Back in PA, I found them already under like pine trees, that deep. I mean, just barely under the pine needles. Probably sitting there for 100+ years. Someone's going off.
That's not me, but we do have a question from Frank's Fly Traps, and I guess we'll go around the room until Jeff does a drawing. Do you guys mess with the thresholds or advanced settings, or just stick with the basics? We'll start with you, Billy.
Well, me personally, I pretty much figure that the people that make these metal detectors are a lot smarter than me. And I pretty much leave it in the normal settings, and it seems to work good for me. And even though Rick said this earlier, he's not the worst guy with technology, because I probably beat him because I'm horrible. Matter of fact, it pretty much, I had to borrow a computer. I don't even have a laptop, so it's pretty sad, really. But I just refuse to jump on board with this stuff. It's all great, but yeah, no, I don't mess with it at all. They did a pretty good job when they made them.
Okay, go ahead, Rick.
If I'm in the water, I run my Xcal in pinpoint mode, and I run it wide open, just as deep as I can get it to go. And of course, I am a lot slower than Billy, and especially Shawn. Shawn hunts with track shoes in the water. That guy, he is so fast. I'll be in, and the next thing I look up, and I can't even see the guy anymore. He's 200 yards up the beach.
Well, I gotta say, there's a saying in metal detecting, and I always tell everyone, the saying is you go low and slow, and that's very, very true. But there's a time and a place to go low and slow. So when I first get to a beach, the reason why I always find so much stuff is because I'm moving. I'm moving in the water as fast as I can until I find those areas that are washed out. I start finding those dense targets, the fishing weights, those really heavy targets. That's when I slow down. So you'll see me, I change my pace while I hunt all the time. But,
as I'm walking in the water, I'm always assessing what's under my feet. If I feel like I'm walking on a mattress, like there's a lot of sand, and every now and then I'll take a test scoop to see what the material is. If there's a lot of sand, then I'm like you. I kick it up and I move. But if I am walking on shells and I'm walking on hard bottom, then I slow down. And especially if you get these bowls that form close to shore. Billy actually found the bowl first at a beach here in St. Pete last year. And he had already pulled, I think, 5 rings out of it. And then when he told me about it, we went and hit it again. I think I got 3 more rings that day. And I think you got 2 more, Billy. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it was 6 or 7 total.
Right. Yeah. So, that all came out of a spot that probably wasn't 40 yards by 20 yards, maybe. We just kept crisscrossing it. And at the high side, it would be, sternum, belly button deep. Then you get into the hole and it'd be up to your chin. So
nice.
Now, when I'm land hunting with a Deus 2, I'm running it in park. I got the sensitivity at about 90. And that's all I do. I just like Billy said, those guys are a lot smarter than I am. They programmed it a certain way. And fortunately, knock on wood for us, Florida's soil isn't mineralized a lot like the people up north have to deal with. So we have really kind soil down here. So really, you can just turn on and go. You may have to ground balance on occasion, pump it up and down to get it, ground balance. But once you do it one time, you're usually done.
All righty, and you, Bruno.
Yeah, I just I don't mess around a whole lot with it. I like a threshold nice and high, hear everything. I usually run in all metal and then crank up the sensitivity as much as it'll let me. And if it's beyond that, it's going to be too much to dig anyway. I'll just go to the next target, or I'll call Shawn over. I'll say, finish digging this. I've dug like 20 scoops. Then he comes over and finishes it. Happens all the time.
It almost every time we go out.
And finds it in the first scoop too.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah.
No, that's not always the case. I won't say
That's
that.
true. Sometimes he gives me a challenge.
Yeah, but and I don't mind leaving the targets behind. I just don't want someone else to find them. I'm okay not finishing a hole, but if I think one of these knuckleheads are going to come up behind me and dig it, then I'll keep going, or I'll call them over to finish it.
Okay. Shawn, we'll ask you the same about the settings, but first we had a question from Martin Bishop. He wants to know if you're still using the Manicore.
I am still using it. So XP reached out to me and they asked me, how come you're not using a Deus 2? And I told them, I said, when they came out, I was torn between the Manicore and the Deus. And, really, I'm a Mind Lab guy. I've been using a Deus 1 forever. And so they offered to send me one to use and try out and give an honest, feedback about it. And I love it. But, yeah, I love that Manicore. So I still do use it. I just want to kind of show my appreciation to XP and use it for the next few videos. But I absolutely still use it. And I'm not one of those ones that just leaves the default settings in there and goes. I do mess around. Like Bruno said, I run threshold on all of my Mind Labs. I bring it up so it's audible. So those really, really, really deep targets, you can hear that break in the threshold. And if you're running with no threshold and it's just quiet, you're missing a lot of deep stuff. You got to run threshold if you have the ability to. And then sensitivity, I'm always changing based on the conditions. If you're in shallow water with waves crashing over the coil, usually you got to drop it down a little bit. And then as soon as I get out in the water, I crank it right back up. I just run it so the machine's just a little bit unstable, but that's about it. As far as the other settings go, on the Mind Labs, I don't really touch much, but the Deus, I'll fool around and I change some settings around depending on where I'm at.
Okay, good. So let's do a giveaway. And once we come back from the giveaway, we're going to find out from Shawn what's going on with his channel. He's got some news about changes going forward to his channel, and he's got some other news, and that'll finish out the show. So let's go ahead and everybody's entered the hashtag Redbook. Let's see, and let me go over here, and we'll collect. And we are fixing to draw.
That thing is so cool, Jeff. I like it.
So we'll see who wins a red book.
It better not be my mom. I see her name in there. Okay, good.
Sentry Admin. So, Sentry Admin, you are the winner of the red book.
You'll get a red book. You'll get
and the towel.
You'll get the towel. You'll be a happy camper for sure.
Yep. So what you need to do, you need to send all your information, and I'm fixing to put it up there for you. Let's see. There is the email. That's where you send it. Your name, address, and phone number, and we will get your prize out to you. So now, Shawn.
Yes.
You said you were going to be making some advances and changes to Detect Florida.
Oh, yeah.
And some of you got some other stuff going on. So
there's
a few minutes left. Let's discuss that.
Well, we got a lot of trips coming up, exciting trips in 2024. I'm going to be taking a trip in a couple months. We're going to the Bahamas. I'm going to do some detecting with one of the locals over there. It's going to be really exciting. But I've got a buddy of ours, Sheldon, that me, Billy, Bruno, and some other of the regulars on the channel, we've been detecting with him. He's a t-shirt designer. He does goofy t-shirts, all kinds of stuff. So he and I have been working closely on all new metal detecting apparel. We're going to have shirts and hats and all kinds of fun stuff. It's not just going to be serious shirts for metal detecting. There's going to be some goofy ones in there too. But we got a lot of great artwork going right now. I'm excited about that. I launched a website. I recently, if you watch some of my older videos, you'll see that I used a very thin carbon fiber shaft on my XCal 2. That shaft was from a company called Owl Engineering based out of Michigan. And it was by far the biggest change as far as metal detector upgrade that I've ever put on any machine ever. It just cuts through the water like butter, and I couldn't recommend it enough to anybody. Well, I get a call from Chuck, the owner of Owl Engineering. This was a few months ago, and he's an older guy, real nice guy, and he said he was thinking about retiring, and he wanted to, leave his legacy to me if I was interested in taking over the company. So I said, absolutely. We figured out a good number. I went up to Michigan. I got a feel for everything that's included in the business, what goes on as far as the manufacturing. And so now I manufacture all the carbon fiber shafts. I make them for the Excalibur, all the Nocta detectors. It's called the stork leg shaft. The Nocta is just the lower shaft. Actually, give me 1 second.
And I'll say I've seen those shafts, and the reason why that's a good thing for your detector is because Shawn pumps you in the water, and you have less resistance, right, Shawn?
That's exactly it. I mean, it's a 10 millimeter shaft, so it's so much thinner. The factory shaft, I believe they're 7/8, and the 10 millimeter shaft, it just cuts through the water like crazy. And another thing that I make an upgraded powder coated aluminum arm cuff. So there's actually, I make them for, this is the Nocta, this is the Simplex Ultra, but it's same thing for the Legend and all the other Nocta detectors. But I also make arm cuffs for, this is Equinox. This is for the Equinox 600 and 800. This is a combination of the powder coated aluminum, and I also have anodized billet aluminum mounting brackets on here. All the hardware is 316 stainless, and you get your choice between a blue and a red strap. But I'm making lots of products. I'm currently developing even more. I'm working on a line for the XP Deus currently, and amongst other upgrades that I can't really talk about just yet, but there's a lot going on. The website is called Treasure Tech USA, treasuretechusa.com, and you can see all the stuff that I currently sell. There's a lot on there, so check it out if you are interested.
And you never know, it may show up in Tampa at Myers Metal Detector.
That would be amazing.
You might need some ambassadors to test drive.
I'll hook my boys up.
Yeah, that sounds like a good product, especially the lower shafts for the Legend.
Yeah.
For hunting in the water. When you have the less resistance of your shaft pushing through the water, because I had a friend of mine make me one before I knew Shawn was doing it. Now he made it out of a golf club.
Oh my goodness!
And you talk about thin and sliced to the water. I don't think it'll hold up like your product, but
yeah,
it is very, very nice not to have that thick shaft.
It really, I mean, you can only say to people so much about how much of a game changer it is. Once you use one,
it. Absolutely.
It's unbelievable. So, I also make them for the Manicore also. The Manicore, the Equinox, all the Nocta detectors. So if any of you guys have those, I make a solid carbon fiber shaft for them.
Do you have them in stock, ready to go now?
Yep, they're in stock, ready to ship.
Okay. Well, holler at me tomorrow.
Okay, I'll give you a call.
Okay.
And you and I need to talk, Shawn.
Absolutely.
I thought it was funny you're using a golf club to slice.
Yes, to slice to the water.
I slice all the time with a golf club.
Oh my goodness! So
well, that'd be good because you get hooked up with Phil. You'll have a distributor there, and we need to get you back on a little later after you really get your feet on the ground with some more of the products and stuff that you're going to work on. And let's get you back probably in end of April. You should pretty much know what's going on then.
That sounds good. Yeah, I'll be well established by then.
Okay, so let's get together and we'll get you booked again for the end of April, and we should be good to go there.
Sounds good.
So sounds like exciting things are happening on Detect Florida.
Oh yeah, a lot going on.
especially when you get all, what's really refreshing about the Detect Florida videos when you get all your buds, and your dad's involved.
Yeah, that's the best part about it is you go on all these adventures. I should say we go on all these adventures, and even if we don't find anything, we're still hanging out all together. We always have a good time no matter what, and that's really what treasure hunting's all about.
That's
Just
my
getting out
clock.
there, having a
Sorry.
good time.
I think the thing more than anything else, though, too, and it goes with all 6 of us here, because I've hunted with everybody except Bruno. And Bruno, we just keep missing each other.
That might be on purpose.
I'm genuinely excited for you. If Billy finds a great big gold chain, I'm excited for him. I get as excited seeing him find it, or Shawn or Bruno find it as myself. So
I pull out a ring. Billy says he's going to throat punch me.
Well, if you find a memorial penny and Billy don't, you're liable to be throat punched.
Well,
I'll tell you what, let's do.
He meant that in a loving way.
Everything's a competition. I mean, I want everybody to find good stuff. But I want to find a better stuff.
Punch them, they got to stop.
Well, if I can just share one quick story real quick. I saw Gary Penta's in here. Well, we were all hunting at Pastoral Beach. This was a few years ago. And there was, I think, 7 or 8 of us out there detecting. Nobody was finding squat. And the day was a total bust. And I said, I'm going to go down by the snack bar, down about a half mile. And all right, no problem. Well, I get down to the snack bar. I walk out in the water. Right as I'm walking out in the water, I see Gary Penta. He comes running out. Shawn. I stopped and I said hi to him. And I said, all the guys are way down there. He said, all right, I'm going to go meet up with them. I'll see you later. I turn around. I take 5 steps into the water. Boom, boom. Sounds like a beer can. Well, it ended up being an authentic ladies' Rolex watch. And so I pull this thing out, and I'm like, oh, my God. Of course, I hit it with my scoop. I destroyed the bracelet on it, but it was real, and it was working. And I remember I came walking up to Billy when I found it. I said, you'll never believe what I found. And I still, to this day, can't believe it. I show it to him. He says, oh, that's pretty cool. Good job. And he gives it back. And I was like, that's it? I mean, did you look at it? And he looked at it. Oh, is that a Rolex? Yes, it is, you jerk. but yeah, you just never know. Even on those beaches where you're finding nothing, you never know. There was a Rolex hiding there. There was nothing else at that beach, but there was a Rolex.
Hey, isn't that 2 in your collection? Haven't you found 2 of them?
The other one I was hired to find.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, it looks like our hour is rolled through, but I got a couple comments real quick. One is from Karen Reitzman. Welcome, Karen, to the live stream. Thanks. She says, thanks, Phil, for mailing out my new Naka Legend Pro Pack so quickly. Looking forward to spring. She's up in Ohio, so they must have some cold weather up there.
Oh, yeah.
And then Frank's Fly Trap had a comment, the arm cuff nice and stable on the Legend. That must be to you, Shawn.
Heck yes, it is. So if you can see on here, I know the strap is in the way. Let me get that out of the way real quick. So I there's 4 holes in there, and one of the holes protrudes out the bottom. So what that allows you to do, it allows you to go up a notch, down a notch, or you can rotate it 180, and it gives you more adjustability if you're shorter or taller. And it's nice and stable. It's lightweight, but it's very, very strong. It's aluminum, so it'll never break on you.
Right.
I was in Alabama, and a guy had one, and his plastic arm cuff broke while he's right out in the middle of the hunt field.
Oh, bummer.
If you only had an aluminum one.
Yes, and it looks like our time is just about up.
It is.
And Tom Becker had commented that Karen is in the Troubled Treasure Hunting Club.
Yep.
So that's cool. So look, guys, I wanted to say thank you, Billy. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Bruno. Thank you, Shawn. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jocelyn. And I wanted to embarrass Jocelyn a little bit. We had our 42nd wedding anniversary, December 28th. So
congratulations.
So we were away. So 42 years.
And you're still alive, so that's something.
It's so great to me this year, so I'm happy. So it's been an awesome 42 years for sure. But thanks, guys, for coming on here and showing your wisdom with us, sharing your wisdom.
Yeah, thanks.
Really
for
enjoyed it.
Thank you.
We'll keep everybody updated as far as when Phil starts getting some of the Shawn's products in the shop. We'll do a live on a Saturday and show you what we've got. And Shawn, you and I need to talk, and then you've got to talk with Phil tomorrow. But we want to say thank you to everybody. Now, remember, next week on the show, it's going to be Great Women Detectors of the World. And then on the 22nd, it's going to be Nocta time, because Dillick is going to be here and Mark Kaminsky. They will be at the big electronic show in Vegas, but they're going to be on the show that night along with a couple of the Nomads. And we're going to be giving away a Nocta Score and a Nocta Score 2. So that's going to be a really good show. That's on the 22nd. So you make sure that you're here. We got a lot coming up for you. We've got a show that's really going to be good is Below the Plains. We got a show coming up from the Fisher Museum in Sebastian. And we also got a show coming up with Epic Fossils. That's really going to be good for all you fossil hunters.
Awesome.
So we want to say thanks. Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Justin. Guys, I appreciate you. Like you can't believe. Let's get together soon and do some hunting. Shawn, give me a call in the next couple days.
Sounds good.
All righty. Thanks, everybody. Happy hunting and dig deeper. And thank
See you on the beach somewhere.
See you guys. Have a good one.